Let's bring in political analyst Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast for more. Professor Breakfast, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, we listened to how DA leader John Steenhuisen is saying that the DA is not leaving the GNU just yet. The argument has been that you cannot be part of a government whose budget you've opposed. This is essentially the strongest bottom line. How does the DA stay in the GNU after pulling such a move?
Well, Mpho, the argument that you've just advanced is an argument that is made in theory, but in practice, I think we need to bear in mind that everything is a context, and context is everything. You know, just to set the scene for your viewers, the GNU was not a brainchild of those coalition partners. The GNU was a brainchild of the market forces. You know, the DA said in the beginning it will never work with the ANC, but then later on, because there was an invisible hand, it ended up reaching out to the ANC, and then they struck a deal. Now, yesterday I was saying that it's quite clear which way the wind is blowing, but then today I see that there is an interesting turn of events, because the market forces have intervened, which complicates now the matter in terms of what is going to be the decision of the ANC, because the withdrawal of the DA from voting was a blow to the GNU, but the ANC is under pressure from its alliance partners and from other coalition partners. So yeah, I mean, it's not quite clear now which way the wind is blowing. I think the ANC has to make a call after all.
Yeah, its alliance partner, I mean, the SABC has been very vocal. I mean, we've just heard them saying that the DA must be the first persons to show themselves the door, because the dilemma the DA faces is that whether they can vote to reject the fiscal framework and after doing so go back to the government to implement it, pardon me, because then that's hypocritical. So how are the stakes going to be weighed out here as we wait to see? We're essentially just watching the space to hear who says what first.
Well, Mpho, under normal circumstances, you are on point that you cannot reject a budget and then at the same time want to implement it. But then there are other complexities at play. You also have the backing of the market forces that it is alleged that they've made the ANC to put its meeting today on hold because of their influence, which maybe conveys a message that maybe the ANC and the DA might kiss and make up, you know, and let bygones be bygones, you know, and still work side by side, even though the ANC is being put under pressure, though, to let go of the DA. No wonder the DA has sort of like pronounced that it is not going to walk out of the GNU by itself.
With all these pressures and questions on whether they should kiss and make up, and what will the ripple effect be should they not, how big a role could internal party pressures play in the decision to stay or leave? Because the DA and the ANC have factions pushing for the GNU's collapse from the inside.
Well, I think if the ANC still continues working side by side with the DA, then they should not cry foul later on when the DA contradicts it on matters of international importance and matters of national importance, because the DA sometimes it tends to cross swords with the ANC about government matters, foreign policy matters, and so on, and it paints a bad picture, as if the center does not hold. So if the ANC decides to, you know, join forces again with the DA, I will never take it seriously again, because I think the DA has, if I can quote the words of President Ramaphosa, has defined itself outside the GNU. So why then would you want then to work with a party like that?
So what options could the ANC have if this does indeed collapse?
The issue is that those political parties that voted for the budget did not vote just for fun. There's nothing for free in politics. So the ANC has to pay them back. So I had Action SA today. They say that they won't join the government of national unity if the executive is not reduced. But at the same time, it is not against the idea of working side by side with the ANC. But still, even if they work together, the ANC, Action SA, blah, 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 there will still be a shortfall. So to make up for that shortfall, it means that then the ANC will have to reach out to other political parties. So if the DA walks out of the GNU, there will be a shortfall in terms of numbers. The only political parties that can make up for that shortfall is EFF or maybe MK. Otherwise, the ANC can only govern by a minority government.
Yeah. The African Transformation Movement and the MK party have both said that they believe that the GNU is on the brink of a collapse. What does the DA stand to lose should this formation break down?
Well, they have tasted power. They have entrenched themselves, and they have framed a discourse that there has been a change of heart in the state apparatus in terms of how, every time they do something, Mpo, they will post or say this and that, and say it's the DA ministers who are doing this or that. So that fits into the upcoming local government election. So it's the narrative that they've been framing. So if now they walk out of the GNU, that argument will fall away. So they would want to hold on to power. But also I think it's good, to make them feel like they are making a substantive a contribution to the country.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thanks for weighing in on this discussion, giving us some insight there as we wait and see what the formation will be, the composition of the GNU. Does it stay the same? Does it change? Professor Ntsikelelo Breakfast there giving us a sense of the dynamics at play.